What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, Season 6, Episode 10, Leap. So, as I kind of figured, it wasn't quite right. I was thinking more like she was mind controlling people, but as it turns out, yes, Izel was hopping literally in between bodies, leaping in between bodies, since the title of the episode, because it's Leap. She leaped from. Anyways, but yeah, so we do find out finally about who Sarge is, and it's okay. It wasn't quite as like shocking or mind-boggling as I thought it was building up towards. As it turns out, so apparently he is the same being as Izel. Essentially, they come from this world where they're all a bunch of corporeal, however you say the word, beings. Fitz at the end describes it very similar to someone like Ghost Rider. And essentially, Coulson's body, whenever he went into the three monoliths combined area, his body got sent there, and so this being took over his body and then left because Coulson, I guess his willpower overcame the being in a sense. Like, it's kind of weird. It's almost like Coulson got duplicated and got sent there, and then the being took him over, but then Coulson's mind almost took over for the being, but it's not quite Coulson, because Sarge is not Coulson, but he still seems kind of like Coulson. But there are obviously many personality differences, and who knows, maybe it's just because he went through something completely different. But essentially, Izel saw that and thought, oh, well, you know what? I mean, I want to do that. That seems amazing. So she took over her own host, and I guess maybe she has more control over the host than Sarge does. I don't know. It's kind of different. It's a little out there, and I'm not sure I quite understand everything. But essentially, the power of the monoliths comes from their world, and so that's why she shows up in the base to go get it. And overall, it's a pretty interesting episode. Like, I'm not 100% like sure how I feel about the idea yet. But as far as the episode goes, the episode was enjoyable. The episode was fun. The whole switching bodies thing, you're always kind of questioning, well, who could it be? And then it turns out to be Fitz. And then they kill off Davis, and I kind of figured, I don't know. He and Piper always seemed kind of like those side characters that they're part of the team and they're enjoyable, but I just had a feeling that one of them was going to die. And honestly, of the two, it felt like Davis was more likely to. So, like, it's sad, and it's not like I wanted Davis to die, but whenever she took him up, or whenever she made her leap through several people and then got up to Davis, my only thought was, well, I guess that's it for Davis. Like, it seems so likely that that was it for him. He's done. So then she ultimately ends up killing him to show, hey, I'm not messing around. And honestly, like, that whole scene in general it was pretty well done. Like, a little slow paced, I think. It was kind of building, building, building. It was a little slow at first, but then once they realized Izel was actually there and she was in Fitz's body, that's where I think the intensity really started to hit. And so just showing how easily she could jump between people's bodies, and then she gets to the point where she shoots Piper's hand and like showing them, hey, this is what I can do to you. But then they just still didn't take her seriously. Mac was still telling Davis, take the shot. And so then she has to show exactly how serious she is. So she has to kill someone. And unfortunately, Davis is the most side character out of the group. So I don't know. It just, again, it's a sad moment. It's not like I'm sitting here going, Davis, who cares? But at the same time, I kind of saw it coming. So it wasn't completely out of nowhere. But it is good to show Izel is serious and she is willing to kill people to do what it takes, or to get the job done. So that is one thing that I will say sometimes is difficult for superhero shows to do. Like, it's not always easy to show how serious the bad guy can be, because sometimes you have a team of people, and it's not like you can just keep killing off that team, because eventually you'll run out of team members to care about. So you really have to plan when to kill those team members if you're going to, and you have to find good ways to integrate like more side character team members to make it somewhat heartfelt, but also they're not like one of the main cast, and so like what the hell, you're killing off a main character. So I don't know. I personally saw it coming, but I also liked what they did with it. So yeah, I know I might have rambled a bit there, but that's how I felt. But yeah, so very interesting to find out what's going to happen next. Now that Izel has the monolith powers, she also has Yo-Yo's body, which means she's very powerful. Mac is going with them, obviously, because he cares for Yo-Yo and he wants to make sure she's safe. Sarge is completely healed and starting to kind of realize who he is, because we can even see, like, his, I guess, corporal form is starting to manifest a little bit at the end there. So I'll be very curious to see what happens next with all this. But anyways, on to the next episode. See you there. And now episode 11, From the Ashes. So pretty, again, interesting, kind of, this one definitely more just moving the plot forward and kind of showing what's leading up to the final battle. You know, you've got Izel has taken Yo-Yo and Mac to the temple, trying to rebuild the monoliths. I'm pretty sure that the kid that showed up was the one from the future that had the ability to control rocks, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess now that he's there, like, maybe she's going to. I don't know how that happened. Like, how does that work exactly? Because it's supposed to be what they fear the most, and the thing they fear the most is that she would have the ability to create the monoliths, but they said it's losing the ones they care about. So then why did he? I don't know. Like, for some reason, he shows up and he's the one thing that's probably going to be able to help her create the monolith, since he has the ability to control rocks, and the stone that she needs is what the temple is made up of, so he's going to be able to make those monoliths for her. I'm like, okay, sure. I guess it just works out because, well, the bad guy's got to get close to winning at some point, right? I don't know. That just seemed like the only thing to me that is the most random. It's like, why? Like, there's got to be a good explanation for that. Hopefully they explain it, but I feel like more than anything, it's just, well, she needs to have a way to complete the monoliths because there's no real good way to do it. So here, we'll just give her this kid that can do it for her. I don't know. Anyways, so that the build up was fine. It was just that final bit was a little too much for me, a little too convenient for the bad guy. It's kind of one of those. It's like a Deus Ex Machina in reverse. You know, like the bad guy doesn't have a way to do what they need to do, so then something convenient happens for them that doesn't really get explained well, and then all of a sudden now they can, you know, to increase the tension, now they can complete their ultimate master plan. Ooh. Stuff going on with Sarge was kind of interesting. You know, Daisy didn't want to believe it could be Coulson, didn't want to believe that Coulson was in there at all. The rest of the team was like, but it's possible. You know, there's something that's fighting whatever is inside of him. And so by the end, Daisy kind of realizes, okay, so there is still some of Coulson left. And they have the sword that's going to be what kills him. I will say, like I said earlier in a different review, I'm glad Deke has a point. You know, he's not just here for the comic relief. He's not just here for, oh, I get to be with Papa Fitz. You know, am I going to make him proud? He actually figures out kind of the big part of the problem, in that the sword is made up of something that's going to mess with the frequency of what Izel can do, because it's about the frequency of the atoms. That's why the swords are so effective. So now he and Fitz and Simmons are going to be working together to create a device that can help them prevent Izel from controlling them. So I'm glad he has a purpose, you know, and like I said, he's a very smart guy, so I'm glad they're using that. They're not just making him the butt of every joke like I was worried it was going to be for a second. So that's good, and I'm happy to see that's what they did with him. But yeah, everything to do with Sarge and Daisy and May and even Piper, you know, like all of it I thought was pretty well done. I understood everybody's motivations, really. You know, Daisy was in denial because she didn't want to believe that Coulson could be back and then be disappointed. May wanted that chance because she felt like she didn't have long enough with Coulson. Piper is kind of on both sides, you know. On the one hand, it's not like she doesn't want Coulson back, but on the other hand, Izel killed her best friend, her brother practically. And so why risk letting out another beast just like Izel? So I thought the motivations were all really well written in this episode. And now it's set up pretty well for the final two episodes. It seems like all the pieces are finally coming together. The only thing that seems out of place is going back to, for some reason, the Chronicons. Yeah, they're still a thing. So we see Atara is talking to the bounty hunter guy whose name escapes me. She says that they have enough data to go back and stop. They just said the name of the planet. Chronicea? Chronica? I've already lost it. Whatever planet they came from, they have enough information to go back and stop the extinction level event of their planet. So she's saying, let's go do that. But then the bounty hunter's like, change of plans. Actually, we want to create a third, a Chronicea 3. So I'm guessing that means Earth, more than likely. Because why else would that be brought up unless they plan to conquest Earth? Like, oh yes, we're going to create another planet. And it's going to be some random planet that we've never even heard of before, and we're going to take it over. Okay, woo. Well, that's the thing. It's like they didn't even say what planet it was going to be, but I'm like, well, it's probably going to be Earth, or else this wouldn't be important at all. Now, how it's going to tie in with the end and everything going on with Izel and the monoliths and all that, I don't know if it's going to be connected at all. I don't know if it's just going to be a problem maybe for next season. But it seems kind of random. Like, it's just sort of been tacked on at the end of 2 episodes now that stuff is still going on with these Chronicons. So, I don't know. It seems strange. But anyways, with that being said, that's it for these 2 episodes. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on these 2? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe. Feature Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I will see you guys at the next episode. Peace out.